You are listening to Heroes Never Die, your one-stop spot for all the latest news, Overwatch League results, and mishaps in Overwatch. Here are your hosts, Totemly Drunk and Edinar.
And of course, we got Multi. We can't forget the man of the hour. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Heroes Never Die, your one-stop spot for all things Overwatch. Tonight, we are celebrating 200 episodes of the podcast. And, we'll also be talking a little bit about some of the most recent news around not only the game, as well as its competitive scene. But tonight is more a night of celebration, reminiscing about the past, the Overwatch podcast scene, really anything and everything in between as we do a bit of a throwback episode, so to speak. So before we get into all of that and introduce you to my co-host and our guest, let me just quickly take a moment to thank everyone who is joining us tonight on Twitch for our live show. And of course, I have to thank all of our repeat listeners out there. So up first, as you can tell, we do have someone new on the show. He is one of the OGs, at least in the Overwatch podcast scene. I'm sure a lot of you guys have been familiar with the Cavalry and some of his other projects as well. So please welcome our guest, Multi-Sword. Multi, it is so great to have you on, my friend.
Thank you very much. Great to be here. Great to be here for this 200th episode. You guys, I don't want you to take this as an insult by any means, but I can't believe you made it this far. 200 episodes is a milestone by any metric, and you guys have just been killing it. So
yeah, so I'm waiting for next week, and I'll just do the 201 and done.
That's right.
And then I'll spook everyone, right? And then we'll just come back immediately. That's what we gotta do.
And no, what you got to do is you got to do 100 episodes, and you got to do 101 and done, and then hand the reins over to entirely other people from then on out.
Do you have practice in this?
Maybe. Yeah, right. No, yeah. So okay, some background for folks on my former podcast, The Cavalry. That's exactly what we did. We made it to the 100th episode, and the funny thing about it, you guys might not know this, is once we'd done the 100th episode, we weren't sure that we were going to quit that. The decision between that was made between 100 and 101. And so the tone of those two episodes were totally different because it was like, hey, we're celebrating 100. And then right after that, this is our last one as this group anyway. So yeah, I'm hoping you don't follow my footsteps. You guys aren't planning on it, right? There's going to be a 202 with you guys.
And a 203. And a 204.
I don't know. I've done a lot of good sabotaging in the past 100 episodes. That I think the demand just might not be there anymore. They're like, this asshole Ednar just annoys all of us, and he makes stupid Star Wars references, and he makes jokes that everyone should laugh at but doesn't because Totem's an a-hole. And you know what? I have done my best to get this show canceled, and it's just not working.
Yeah, you're trying to go to Pennsylvania. That's where you're going.
Yeah, see, I secretly was hired by our friends over at High Noon Podcast. They're like, ooh. Yeah, they hired me to come over and sabotage the show so they could beat us to 200.
Oh, okay, Ed. Hold on. If you were to use an on-point reference, at least in the podcast scene, you should have used Omnic Lab because High Noon was already on pace to beat us to 200. Omnic Lab was the one that has been around a little bit longer than us, that has been trying to keep pace with the other OG
but
podcasts. But
nobody needed to sabotage them because, well, I play. And and you know what? Sometimes Blevin's over there and, they're just like, maybe we want to take a week off. We'll just let Ednar know, and then he can sabotage the show so we can keep up. So
wait, so my question is, did you fail at this task then? Because we're on episode 200 now, and you haven't.
They're on episode
destroyed the
201.
Show yet. Okay,
so they beat us.
All right,
job well done. I get a bonus now, I think.
Is that how that works?
You guys were so close to a tie.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
To be honest, I didn't notice initially until I was doing the weekly recall, and I was like, "Oh crap! This is back-to-back celebratory episodes for us.
Now, were you secretly hoping that they'd be like you're 40 episodes out, they have to like miss a week, be like, ha, gotcha, fuckers.
Well, there was definitely a couple of weeks where we recorded where they didn't. But, you know, part of me was always like, okay, like the Bluffins and I have this like inner competition about who can do the most podcasts at any one time. And then I was telling him, basically like our whole ordeal about joking about like these crazy or random ideas that we would have for them to podcast about. But like none of them actually detracted away from them producing the Overwatch content. So that they were still able to keep pace, essentially, which was crazy to see. But
I actually think I'm close to. I beat the Blevins now. I think almost on podcasts. I'm on 4 a week now.
That's pretty crazy. Yeah,
I told him you're on like 5.
It depends on a week, to be honest, in that regard. So with that,
I'm on a half of
right?
one.
Casually,
it's every other week. Very casual.
Bi-weekly. Yes. And now you're on this one, so like you bump up the average just a little bit.
But 0.501.
That's right. I'll take it.
There you go. Just for that week. And then it will even out over the course of the next couple of months. But I do see a lot of familiar faces in chat. One of our original hosts, Draven Dresden, is here. Draven, awesome to see you out here for episode number 200 as, you know, really the person that was right beside me for a vast majority, at least, of the early goings on the podcast. Hope you were doing well, my friend.
I took over for him for the bad jokes.
Yeah.
That Totem never laughs at.
Yeah. You know, someone had to continue the tradition. It's definitely a rough go of things, and you know, like there are times when we perfectly set things up, and I know you and I were arguing over something that recently happened that, you know, you were hoping was going to be a WrestleMania moment. I still don't know if this is actually going to be the case, but to get everyone caught up to speed, recently, Dr. Disrespect has been streaming Overwatch. And, you know, he kind of, like, gave his takes on the game. He was complaining about the amount of visual effects, the amount of shields in the game. He really hates Zarya of all the characters because, you know, she just pops up the bubble and then she just absolutely destroys him. Now, that being said, Ed, you know, looking at how Dr. Disrespect has been doing, makes you feel pretty good about yourself knowing that he's been, you know, in silver. But, you know, he was going through his placements and then all of a sudden they did, like, this segment where like they had like the voice of the Undertaker present and he was like warning him about something, and then I could have sworn there was a follow-up that they did with like a face-to-face, but I don't know if that's actually going anywhere or if that was just for something promotional. So I don't know where they're going with it, but obviously, you know, I kind of caught you up to speed with what the actual plans are, but who knows? Maybe Dr. Disrespect will show up for the big event at WrestleMania in the coming months ahead.
Yeah, like it was funny. Like I'm watching this just dumpster fire of Dr. Disrespect trying to play Overwatch. Honestly, it was some of the best Overwatch watching experience I've ever seen. It was more entertaining than the Overwatch League. I will give you that.
Just to watch him fail and
just to watch him rage out on Zarya and her what did he call it? The flamethrower? He's like, who's the flamethrower chick? That's Zarya. It's a beam. And then he's like, I'm dead lasting damage. That is because you're McCree and all you're doing is shooting at Reinhardt's shield.
Checks out. Yep. Now my
So-
question is, did he stream this from a public restroom?
No, he did not.
Oh, I'm surprised. I'm really surprised.
There was a public restroom joke.
I'm sure there was, yeah.
So, like, to him and Tim the Tatman has been playing Overwatch on and off. Because that was his original game, really, that kind of got him to where he's at now. And Dr. Disrespect was like, so where are you playing from now? He's like, or stall number 3. Do you want me to get the camera? Like,
Okay, so he's owning it. That's good.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
But this Undertaker thing, I didn't see a massive follow up for like what it could be.
Right.
Like my guess is he does some sort of like ringside thing with whoever that Undertaker goes up against
That'd
at
be
WrestleMania.
AJ Styles.
Spoilers, dude.
Well, everyone.
Jeez.
If we have anyone who
God.
like listens to the dirt sheets, they should already know what most of the planned matches are.
Fair. So you could have something like that, and then that would be cool. But yeah, no, the Dr. Disrespect actually playing Overwatch for the first time since the game launched was pretty massive, because I think he had over 30,000 viewers watching him play this.
Yeah.
Which shows me the Overwatch viewership is still out there, because like presently he's playing Call of Duty and he's got 15,000.
Well, there you go.
So and
Bumped up when he went over.
it
Yeah.
wasn't sponsored either.
He just wanted to check it out.
Like it like there was nothing in his channel that said it was sponsored. Now it could have been, but somebody that big, if they're being paid to do it, they always put sponsored or whatever in the title.
Right. And
Gotcha. Okay.
looking back to, there was a moment where he was gifted like 100 subs by Blizzard, or I don't know if it was the Overwatch team specifically, but I saw a lot of people that were like, ugh, why can't you guys like give that to people that are actually an integral part of your community rather than showering it to a popular streamer? And, you know, I know there's been instances outside of Overwatch where we've seen it happen that have garnered, you know, similar reactions, but at the end of the day, no one else is getting that amount of viewership. That is the best way for you to attract new customers to your product. And people don't really quite understand that. It's the same reason why people have kind of been complaining about them not getting selected as like one of the partnered streamers for some of the challenges. Because I know there are a couple of people out there who have also been complaining about that. And you know,
What? Whoa. Reddit people don't complain.
well, this is Twitter.
Yeah,
Twitter.
It's almost the same.
It's basically Cesspool Junior. It's Reddit Junior.
It's Reddit
Like-
with a character limit.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is true.
and more politics
Yeah, honestly.
and dog photos
Mhm.
and nudity.
On Twitter?
A lot
Oh
of
my
a
God.
lot of lewd things.
I am following the wrong people.
Yeah,
I don't even know
clearly.
them.
Right? I can't open up my Twitter at work.
No, neither can I.
No, yeah, fair point. All right.
Or
Maybe I
Discord in
should
some cases.
keep things clean.
Yeah. I could never open. Oh, now I'm just having flashbacks to the meme dad jokes or from the cavalry of, like, I brought this up last week when it was 8 Doomfists around one Tracer and it just said
Oh, yeah.
Pornhub over the top. Oh, Tracer got.
Yep.
Leave that up to the imagination on that one.
Now, is that still a major thing, Overwatch porn?
Oh
Like,
yes, that
Sure,
hasn't
does it get-
slowed down at any point.
Does it get more viewers than Dr. Disrespect? I mean, no disrespect.
It's Pornhub.
Hold
We
on.
literally- We did a sorry while he looked.
looking-
I
looking it up.
gotta mute the channel.
Yeah, right.
So while he's looking it up, I'll explain. A bunch of episodes back, they actually released the most viewed video game characters on Pornhub, or the most searched for
Mhm.
video game characters on Pornhub, and they were up there.
Yeah.
Like Diva and Mercy
Sure.
and stuff like that. So we had a good, nice, long discussion on Pornhub.
Good times.
It's
It's good
still a thing.
insights. Well, I'm just looking at what's been featured recently, and you know, it's ranging anywhere from like on a very low end 300, but then it goes to upwards of 2.5 million.
Wow.
So that's a pretty wide range, but it hasn't really slowed down at any point.
That's a lot of Diva doing. Eh?
Yeah.
Yep. And now
Eh?
you've got a lot of viruses on your computer.
Right?
Your computer right now is pretty much the
Wait.
Pacific Northwest.
So if you search Sombra porn,
Well, come on, that'd be a weird search if you're already on the site like that.
okay, if you could just turn on like go to Pornhub and type in Sombra, does your computer get hacked IRL?
Can you even see her, like, in the porn?
She's not stealth.
What's the point? It's just a couch. Like, okay.
Yes, we need to make this. Just have like a 2-minute video of a couch.
Yep.
Nothing else. Label it Sombra porn and see how many hits it
views?
gets.
Probably more than we would think.
I would say 10,000 minimum.
Oh yeah, in like a day, and then Pornhub would take it down. for
No,
sure.
No, they have non-porn stuff up there.
Like a couch?
This
They-
is the
they have-
same company.
That's a little surrealist,
Okay,
isn't it?
okay, Kevin. Like this is the same company who did like this fundraiser to save the bees. Okay, and then they were doing these pollination videos where they would have a bee pollinate a flower, and then they would have some of the actors and actresses voicing the flower and the bee. And for like every view, they would donate X amount of dollars, and that category took off, and that was just marketing genius.
That is.
God bless the internet.
Right. Or curse it. I don't know. I can't decide which.
I forgot where we were. Like,
yeah, I don't know. Were we talking about Dr. Disrespect?
We were talking about Dr. Disrespect.
Okay.
No, I was going to say I heard a lot of people complain about not giving it to smaller streamers. Here's the thing. You can give 100 subs to somebody who's got 1,000 viewers, or you could give 100 subs to somebody who's got 30,000 viewers and make it known to the 29,900 like about Blizzard. Like,
and these are people who probably wouldn't be playing your game otherwise or know too much about it because it's not generally in his wheelhouse.
Yeah, exactly. And watching him go off was priceless. Just priceless.
I'm not sure people who didn't know Overwatch at all learned much though, other than about the flamethrower chick. But no, I mean, you're right. It does get extra exposure to a whole new audience, and that's always good stuff. And yeah. It's cool.
I think the highlight for me was just seeing him constantly like going past a choke point and then feeding his brains out. He'd always be like the first to die. Or he'd just be complaining like, I'm doing all this damage, but like nothing is dying. Well, it's because he's doing like body shots.
And then he's always like the first one pushing in as McCree. His team's not even there. He's going in. He's like, I got this. This is not your normal, like... You are more squishy than others.
But you don't feel like it under that hat.
No.
That's a fact.
It's a bulletproof helmet.
It sounds like he plays a little bit like I do, so I can't throw much judgment his way.
All I can say is now I'm better than Dr. Disrespect at Overwatch.
Yeah.
And I'm proud of this.
Yeah, you should be.
Absolutely. So... we're going to be pretty light on news this week, primarily because, one, it's episode 200, and two, last week was actually a pretty heavy news week for NNR and I with the latest balance patch, experimental card, the new event that's going on, the developer update, all of that good stuff. So, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about what's been going on in the Path to Pro and the Overwatch League. So, for starters, we actually got new details about the 2020 Contenders season, primarily revolving around the broadcast. And they have ended up partnering with Take TV. For those that aren't familiar with Take TV, they're the ones that hosted some of the EU competitions, back when NA completely shit on EU on LAN in their own studio. Yeah, those guys.
Suck it, EU.
Feels bad, man. But anyway, so they partnered with Take TV for the next season of Contenders, and they have announced that they will have English language casters for the next season. So that would include Ham Tornado, Trid, Lemon Kiwi, Leg Day, Vicky Kitty, and Herix as the 6 that they have for that. So you got 3 pairings there. And they will be commentating matches played in 2 of the regions. That would be both EU and NA. And I know, like, we haven't really been checking too much in regards to, like, the Tier 2 scene, Ed. And I know they have, like, a new format. The scheduling is kind of, like, a lot different compared to what it is with the new format, because it's kind of, like, rotating, like, what part of the Path to Pro is playing each week, which is completely different. But Season 1 for this season, for the 2020 season, is actually kicking off here fairly soon within, looks like a little over a week from now, so it starts next Tuesday. But, I know there's been a lot of discussion between some of our peers about the talent that is being brought in. We initially didn't know if they were actually going to be broadcasting at all, whether it was trials or even contenders outside of the finals or the semis, things like that. So at least we're getting a little bit more coverage. But I don't know, like we're still entering a situation where the viewership hasn't necessarily been there. But I saw a post on Reddit about them advertising Contenders Australia during one of the watch points. I don't know if you managed to catch that or if there was truth behind that. It could have just been someone throwing on Photoshop.
No. What it was is an Australian said something good about Tier 2.
Okay.
So Uber shouted out Tier 2. Now, they may have done something like to advertise Australian Tier 2, but there was also an Australian throwing out some Tier 2 love.
Okay.
So the most action Tier 2 has ever gotten in the Overwatch League was by Uber.
That is a fair point. Well, they're also going to be kind of like joining in the ball handling after the lottery draws for hero pools. And I don't know why this is even a thing. So the Path to Pro is going to use the same hero pools as the Overwatch League. And my gut reaction to this is just why? Why let the Overwatch League dictate who is going to be played in a completely separate environment? Because, I'm just trying to think, like, you don't really see things like that crossing over into other games. Kevin, I know, like, for a long time, you were covering Heroes of the Storm. It's not like you would have the same heroes banned from, like, one tournament to the next at different levels. So, like, this just didn't add up to me.
Yeah, the only thing that I could think of is that this way there's parity between those two different levels of, like, the OWL versus Tier 2, and that if a meta forms in the Overwatch League, it can then carry over into Tier 2 and maybe a little bit of vice versa. So I guess I get that. Like, you see it in the Hearthstone space a lot too, where if there's a rash of tournaments all doing Conquest format, for instance, then that just kind of catches on and keeps going, even in smaller local things at times, even though there's other modes that are way more fun than Conquest in some cases. So, like, I mean, I that's my only thought, is that maybe it's to make sure that there's some sort of bridge between that gap, and maybe it helps the Tier 2 prep for the Overwatch League. I mean, I don't know how many of those players feed up into it eventually, but that's kind of my only thought.
So, to that note, I should tell you, the hero pools are weekly. These are constantly rotated in and out. Mm-hmm. So you're not going to have the same heroes banned, essentially, from 1 week going into the next. Like, you could still alternate them, but it's going to be a consistent rotation week to week, which is also kind of like the weird thing too, because you don't have the contenders teams playing every single week either.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. The more I thought about this after it happened, the more I don't know how I feel about this. For the Overwatch League, I still like it for actual Overwatch, like the game. I still like hero pools. I think it's good. For the Overwatch League, I don't know if I like this, because you have, like, imagine me telling you that a completely separate team is going to affect, who doesn't play the same week as you, is going to affect who you can play. So a team from the week before that is not playing this week will affect the teams playing this week, and there's nothing you can do about it. Mm-hmm. Like, perfect example. Yep. Houston. I don't think Houston's playing this week, but the schedule is beyond wonkers at this point, so I'm assuming they're not. But let's say Houston's not. Houston is probably the reason that Widowmaker made it above 10%, because they just made it above the 10% threshold to be put into the wheel of axed. So imagine Houston getting Widowmaker thrown in there because they played it more, and they're the reason that it gets knocked out for the next week, but they don't have to deal with no Widowmaker. Like, I don't know how I feel about that. I think it goes back to the, like, maybe it should be more than just 1 week.
Mm-hmm.
maybe just so that a meta can form a little bit more, even.
Yeah. I mean, so multi, like, we actually, now this is due to the coronavirus, but we have teams that won't actually be playing their first game for 9 weeks.
I feel really bad about my coronavirus joke I just made a while ago then.
Don't worry, we've made
Okay.
them.
All right.
Yeah, no. We've made them. It's
All
okay.
right.
But, like, that's the thing is, like, some teams will have 3-4 week stretches where they don't play, and then they come back, and what they can play is affected by other teams the week before.
Yeah, I can see
So
that.
you can't truly practice what you're going to play or anything like that. You just have to practice everything.
Yeah, and I have this weird thing about competitors at the highest levels of any video game, and it's that, like, I hear all that, and I'm totally with you. Like, some of that is definitely sucks for them, but at the same time, on the other side of the coin, I always think, well, but the teams that adjust the best are going to win, and they should be rewarded for that. So, like, again, harkening back to Hearthstone, which I'm probably going to do quite a bit tonight, in all fairness. Same thing. There was a big tournament right when the Year of the Dragon kicked off. Actually, Worlds.
Oh God, I remember that.
And there was the same conversation of like, oh, but they don't get to play with all the decks they've been practicing for all these months. And in my mind, I'm going, hell yes, because those who adapt well are going to play well, and I want to see that, actually. So, I mean, I don't know. I'm just trying to play devil's advocate here for you a little bit.
No,
That's what I do. I advocate for the devil.
You are a Chiefs fan, so
Yeah,
you did win a Super Bowl somehow.
Yep, you got to sell your soul to something. Is there a bingo space for that, by the way? Selling your soul to the devil.
Sell your soul.
Unfortunately,
Okay.
not.
Middle
All right.
space.
That'll be it. Yeah, everyone gets that freebie. Yeah. Mhm.
So basically, Kevin, how this is working is every week on Sunday during Watchpoint post show, they're going to be doing like a lottery type drawing for the hero pool. So they're effectively banning 4 heroes for like the next weekend of competition. So like this upcoming week or this weekend is the first week where we're actually have the hero pools in play at the competitive level. And basically, the way that they're doing it is they're going to remove 1 tank, 1 support player, and 2 damage heroes out of this list. And it's based on heroes that have, like, an above, like, 10% playtime. So, you know, they're primarily looking to have, like, a pairing of, like, let's say 3 to 5 heroes being able to get drawn out of this lottery system that they have. So they ended up doing this on Sunday, and they had basically, like, a bingo tumbler, you know, little slips of paper with, you know, the different heroes that are above that threshold. And then entering week 5, this current week, we have 2 hit scan DPS characters in McCree and Widowmaker bands. We have Reinhardt, who has been basically the prominent go-to main tank throughout the majority of the season so far. So he's gone. And then Moira is the support that has been banned for this upcoming week. Now, Moira hasn't been seeing a ton of play. It's primarily been Anna and Lucio as that support duo. So not too much of a shakeup there for a lot of teams. But the Reinhardt and the McCree have been 2 consistent picks across the board. Now, that being said, Ed, you know, that still leaves May playable, so we'll see whether or not Reinhardt getting removed is going to change that. Probably not. But it's one of those scenes where it's like, man, what are the odds that Mr. X was going to pick 2 hit scan DPS players out of that pool as a DPS player himself? I'm sure he felt pretty bad about that at the end of the day.
Yeah, it's very weird how, like, you took out the number 1 tank, you took out the lowest picked support. You took out the second highest DPS, and, like, I think the lowest DPS. So they really about it, you know, they really kind of stretch the whole thing. I think Reinhardt's the biggest deal here, because, I mean, to me, this screams, well, you lose Reinhardt, you don't have a true other main tank that can just kind of sit there and take an ass whooping. Like, Orissa's shield is not what it used to be. So I don't know if you can do that. So this screams dive to me. So you're like, I could see Dive really being, yeah, like you have Winston Diva, and Diva, who is a strong character right now, could definitely do it. So I think if you do go Dive, then you see May taken out, and that's how I feel Overwatch wants it to be. They don't want it to be like, oh well, if you take away this character, they're still with this character, they're stuck with this one and another one. No, they want it to like completely change up who you're picking, like all 6 across the board. And I think getting rid of Reinhardt kind of does that to some degree, because he's the true main tank right now. So Dive is screaming in my face right now. So I'm talking, Winston Diva, DPS. You're gonna see Tracer, probably Tracer Genji,
or the alternative would be like
Doomfist
Pharah or Doomfist. Pharah's actually another option as well with the Dive. Now that there's 2 less hit scans that there will be to essentially counter her. And I think in this case, we're primarily going to be looking at a lot of like Nano Blade setups, or maybe even just using the Nano Boost on Winston in order to, gain Primal Rage, in order to, get that additional stall out there on the objective as well.
Yeah. So Multi, can you go over Moira's kit for us?
Oh yeah, so she's got this one. Like, is this like stream of urine or something? I don't know.
Yeah, he's got that. All right.
And then the right click is that, but if you'd had a lot of chocolate, like a lot of chocolate.
But wait.
And then she teleports. I think.
If you eat, what do you think? If you eat a lot of chocolate, what do you think the color of urine is?
An extremely dark yellow to the point where it's pretty much purple.
I feel I need to science. I need to test this out.
I feel like I need to go back to the doctor. Oh yeah, I was right though, right? And then she's got she rewinds time. Nailed it.
She's just a hybrid of all the characters combined.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. The look on your face says it all. Yeah.
the rewind time got me.
Yep.
Yep. Okay. All right. Fair enough.
But no, I will say about the hero pools here, it sounds to me like, and by my description of Moira's kit, you can tell how closely I'm following some of these things, but it sounds to me like some of the fun of this rotating hero pool, though, is that you guys could sit down and analyze, what's the meta going to be like this upcoming week? What champions are going to be good? Which ones aren't? How are we going to see like a payload situation play out versus some of these others? So, I mean, that's kind of cool. It keeps things from just getting like over and over goats and other weird comps that just get boring to watch. So, I mean, philosophically, I'm cool with what they're doing here for sure.
Yeah, initially there was kind of this discussion about whether or not hero pools was going to be needed, because going into this current season, there was a lot of discussion out of like scrimmages that like different regions had their own set meta. There were teams that also had it scrimmed against everyone, so you wouldn't really know what other teams were running. So like that first week, there was a lot of heroes that were getting played that we just normally wouldn't quite see. But then, over the next couple of weeks, we started to see the meta really shape up and get more situated. And now we're at the point where a lot of teams were basically running the Mei with McCree on the DPS line. It was basically Reinhardt with Zarya, or Diva primarily on the tank line with Ana Lucio in the back line for a vast majority of the matches. So I feel like at this point, we're seeing less of the, okay, like, we're just going to run something completely different. Because really the only variations at this point, Ed, that we've been seeing were, like, let's say the Toronto Defiant bringing out Dive, or we saw, like, Sombra Doomfist, Tracer Genji, things like that. But it wasn't to the same degree of what we had saw in those initial weeks out of the gate there.
Yeah, once everyone was testing things out and seeing what everyone else was playing, you kind of saw things go around. It's the perfect example is this week. You kind of saw from Philadelphia. They had gone from like a hybrid at the tank line of doing Ryan Orisa and Ryan Diva to just Ryan Diva. And that's when you see them bring in Fury to play Diva, because Fury is amazing. it's one of those things where it's kind of evolved, but now it's just throwing a whole wrench into things. And you're right, Multi. It's one of those, we're gonna have every week something brand new to talk about, guaranteed.
Yeah, that's cool.
Like, as far as content creators, this is a godsend. Like, like, if you could say, like, hey, your game that you do content creation for will have something for you to talk about, guaranteed, every week.
Well, let's be real, Ed. We've never had an issue fill in time, okay? Like, we're good on that.
You guys make it work. Just talk about Pornhub. It'll be fine.
Yeah, just our insights from the internet.
For sure. So, okay, my question is, we talked about the Kansas City Chiefs a moment ago, and thank you for your congratulations. Should we employ...
Whose trophy did you win? What's the name of the trophy?
I think I got nothing. I don't follow this stuff, man. I watched the Super Bowl. It's the Lombardi Trophy.
Yeah. I can't remember.
Nailed it.
Didn't Vince Lombardi coach where he became so famous and he was so amazing that they had to name the biggest trophy after him?
L.A.
No one wants to actually be in L.A.
Fair point. Yeah, too much traffic.
And taxes.
What I'm getting at, though, sorry. I'm trying to say that they should do this kind of same rotating hero pool in football. Like, they should have a week where there's just no passing, and a week where there's the front line has to do super weird formations or something. There's something we can do here.
You're not allowed to play anyone over 200
right.
pounds.
No wide receivers one week, and then the next week only wide receivers.
Like, wide receivers have to play on the offensive defensive line.
Yeah,
linemen have to play wide receivers.
Yep, checks out.
It's, you know what? I think you're onto something. Vince McMahon is probably like drooling to like try these changes. He's like, I can't have he hate me now in the XFL. But what I can do is make 350-pound offensive linemen sprint downfield for a Hail Mary.
Yep. And then get winded before he even gets there.
And by Hail Mary, I mean 25 yards.
Right.
Man, that's a
be a game-winning play, though. You just never know.
So,
by the way, hold on. I'm yelling at chat. They are literally cheering me on to talk while my mic is muted.
They want to win this game. Yeah.
They just want to add more, cash money to the prize pool, essentially.
You know what? You're all out of luck. I'm gonna keep my thing off mute the entire episode.
You just wrecked someone's game. Yeah,
out of spite.
What if no one wins because of that? That's impossible.
You know what?
No,
good. You shouldn't cheer this on.
We're gonna get bingos one way or another, and I'm pretty sure we're already close to some. So a follow-up question, Multi.
Yes.
Which is Kansas City related. Our good friends Blaze and Bob at Mel Arena, it was a week of the Super Bowl. They had some notes left on their door, telling them to go back to Kansas. Was there anything like that in your area? Because all I could tell was it was primarily just targeted towards them.
No, I mean, our entire state got targeted by this politician guy who confused us with the state next to us. I guess that counts in this category. I don't know if you saw. He deleted the tweet eventually, but nothing's ever fully gone. So I guess that was maybe some high-level trolling on us. But no, I mean, here in Kansas City, people were just fired up. Even I was fired up, and I couldn't name the Lombardi Trophy 2 seconds ago. So,
well, that's because it's Green Bay.
It was a special time. Was that?
It's because it's Green Bay. I mean, and nothing good comes out of Wisconsin. I'm just trying to rile Ed up.
Do you hate Chris? So what you're saying is you hate Chris Farley.
Oh, dang. I can't say that.
I mean, I'm not saying it.
Yeah, because Chris Farley...
Okay, I don't hate everything out of Wisconsin.
No. Your exact words were, nothing good comes out of Wisconsin. Chris Farley came out of Wisconsin.
But not all the best jokes land from Wisconsin. You're offsetting the average there.
We have cheese curds. Hey, what do you bribe your brother-in-law with, or to watch, to babysit? Was it Spotted Cow?
I don't bribe him. They usually get me bear whenever they go
They
to the
pay
show.
you. They pay you with Spotted Cow. So
Yeah,
another thing out of
basically,
Wisconsin.
anytime any one of us goes up to Wisconsin, we have to buy beer because it's not available here.
Yep.
You just don't have it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Don't drink too much of it because it will turn your pee purple.
Yeah. And also, Booger makes a good point. Half this show comes out of Wisconsin. So you saying this show is bad?
Yes. So bad,
Just
we should have
half of
ended like 100 episodes ago.
The
He's trying to
episode
do
I
it.
started. All right.
His sabotage is still going. You never know.
Mm-hmm. That episode 201 and done is on the horizon.
It's so close.
I literally came here to cause that.
Yeah.
I just want you to know.
Yeah, that's Multi's master plan. See,
That's right.
He saw that the totem takeover had reached like max capacity, and he's like, okay, now's the time to flip that switch and put an end to it.
And then I'm going to take over the show and I guess start playing Overwatch again. Maybe. I should do that.
But only casually.
Of course, yeah.
But then instead of going towards Legend, you have to try to make that climb to GM, and good luck doing that on that schedule.
You can play it on the Switch now. So you
That's
can
true.
still
Oh, that would be easier.
You can still consider it a dad GM.
Yeah, it would be.
If you sit in
That would
bed
be dad
playing
GM.
it, you can literally get GM while sitting on the shitter.
So have you guys played it on the Switch yet?
He has.
Okay. And is it unbearable at 30?
It's not as bad as I thought it would be, but once there's a lot of the visual clutter, it's definitely noticeable.
Does it start to like slow down the frame rate and such?
It does.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I've actually played it on the Switch. Primarily because I am a PC user, because that is the master race.
Sure.
After all, I mean, let's be real. So I don't know if they've made any improvements outside of that. But it's definitely more, if there's a ton of visuals, it slows down a little bit. But it wasn't to the point where I was like, okay, like, there's no point of having this game on this console.
Yeah. I think I'm going to pick up Overwatch 2 on it, though, just because then I can play that on the shitter. And it's got story and it's got PvP, so, like, that'll be fine for me. But
Yeah, we gotta find out if Lucio survives that explosion jump onto the helicopter.
Now, would you call yourself the toilet tryhard?
That's where I do most of my gaming these days. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, it'd be like, so you hit GM and you're like, toilet tryhard. Instead of dad legend, toilet tryhard.
Toilet tryhard.
Perfect. I love it.
Yep. Checks out.
So with that being said, guys, obviously today it's mostly a day to reflect on the past couple of years of the podcast. Obviously, Ed's been here for, about half, just like half the shows from Wisconsin at this point. And, one of the reasons why Edinar and I reach out to Multi specifically is because, I mean, really, Multi was a good part of the reason why I even got into podcasting in the first place, specifically when it comes to Overwatch. So, going back when the Cavalry was still, an ongoing thing, which, there's been quite a few podcasts that have come and gone since, I mean, honestly, closed beta. Some make it a couple of episodes and then just don't find an audience, don't really feel like recording anymore. But there's been a lot of, like, notable podcasts that have come and gone since then, including the Cavalry. But basically, a throwback, I was there at BlizzCon for the Overwatch reveal. And, unfortunately at the time, the Cavalry didn't really have anyone out there, so I was kind of acting as, like, your on-field correspondent, and then I guested when I got back from BlizzCon to tell you all about the experience, the overall emotion in a room, what the general consensus was in regards to, like, first impressions. And then, I got to know you a lot better since then, and it is eerily creepy how similar you and I are as a person. Like,
I like how you say "as a person" as if we're singular, which is concerning. Like, there are a lot of people I'd rather have a lot of similarities with than you, if I'm honest. But no, seriously. Yeah, no, that is something that came to light, I think, a little bit right away, honestly, because before all that, the reason I met you was actually just a smaller Hearthstone tournament that I think you had through CTR.
Mm-hmm.
Just a quick pickup tournament that I think like 10, 15 people were in,
Mm-hmm.
and it came down to you and I in the finals. So it was a good time. But then, like, yeah, honestly, I knew you were going to that Overwatch, and like I'd seen you tweet some about Overwatch and saw like how just into the game you were at that point. And so I just kind of reached out and was like, I mean, hey, none of us can afford to make it this year. Do you want to just check things out for us? Let us know how it goes. And then, yeah, how many times did you go through the line that year to play?
It was a lot. I'm trying to
Because it
remember.
was ridiculous.
It was in a. I'm trying to remember what the exact number was. It was between 12 and 16.
And this is before the game came out, so like the lines are long in BlizzCons for Overwatch now, but like this was for so many people's first chance to ever even touch the thing, and you still waited line like 16 times. So yeah, that correspondent thing really worked out.
Absolutely, and even it's crazy to think we're basically nearing what will be 4 years since episode 1 of this podcast.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, that is catching up pretty quick.
Well, it's like you were saying. I mean, so many shows come and go, and you're right. The vast majority make it less than 50, less than 20, probably even episodes before they just either see the difficulty of the time constraints or the amount of work they have to put in this kind of thing, or they just don't find the audience. But yeah, I mean, I was half giving you shit at the start of the show, but I meant it too. Like I genuinely am glad to see you guys make it this far, because 200 is something I wish that like Apple Podcasts or someone could do a study and push out the numbers of how many shows like this make it that far. I mean, some obviously shouldn't count. Like we shouldn't compare ourselves to like, Stuff You Should Know and some of the other like big time podcasts out there that are networked and that sort of thing. I want to know like how many shows make it this far, and I'm guessing the percentage of that gonna be it has to be top 10%.
Oh God, I'd go lower than that.
Lower than that, top 5?
I'd say top 5 would be stretching. Like the amount of podcasts that make it 200 episodes is probably minuscule compared. Because if you think of it, what they say, if you get 100 listeners on an like per week average, you're God, what is it, like top 30?
Really? Okay.
Top 30, top 35% of Apple Podcasts, and that's just if you have 100 people listening. And yeah, so I can imagine ones who get that and then also stick around for 200 episodes. But yeah, I was part of that. My first podcast lasted like 40 some odd episodes.
Yeah. And that's normal. Nothing wrong with that, for sure.
I just never found a co-host.
Yeah, that being the initiative.
And the thing is I always forget the name of it, and Totem remembers the name of my podcast more than me.
So it was called The Initiative, but you never took the initiative to find a co-host?
I tried.
Or to remember the name. One of the two.
I had like 3 different people who said they'd co-host, who then like were like, "Oh, I'm done playing the game. I'm done doing this." I'm like, damn it. And then like I still remember like Multi, had a big part in both me and Totem getting into podcasting. I don't think we've been shy about that at all. Like I probably wouldn't be as much into podcasting without Multi. I still remember when I guested on the Cavalry, I was basically a nothing. Like I'm talking like 50, 60 downloads on a busy week for my podcast. And then I get called in up to the big show, like because at that point it was the Cavalry, Omnic, and High Noon were like the 3 big. The guys from Angry Chicken did one too.
Yeah, Overwatchers.
Yeah, you had like Overwatchers.
But they dropped out pretty early. They were an early show. Like they started They were actually Overwatchers was the show that I first listened to and learned about Overwatch really from. Like I'd seen the announcement at BlizzCon, but I hadn't done any research into like the heroes and their abilities or anything until I listened to that show and I was listening to like Garrett Weinzorl and Patrick Beja go back and forth and describing the abilities, and I'm sitting there going, okay, this is a game I could do.
Yep.
But yeah, anyway.
Yeah, I still remember the first episode I guested on the Cavalry, and it was the Junkrat episode.
Oh god, then it was a junk episode for sure.
It was a junk episode. Like, I've never been welcome onto a show via fiddle before.
Oh yeah. Daner. Oh.
I did that for you people in chat because Daner is on the bingo board.
Oh, was it?
Well,
oh,
yeah,
man.
nickname. I renamed it to nickname Throwback.
Okay,
Nickname
yeah,
Throwback.
that's definitely the one.
It's like
Mark that one down.
Daner.
Daner. Yeah, see, when you live in Kansas City long enough, you just start talking like that. So there's
You're
no
not
way around
that
it.
far south.
The real
Yeah.
question is, does Malty remember mine?
Your nickname?
Yeah, or the one
Oh,
that
God.
you bestowed upon me.
Probably repressed it. No. What was it again?
It was taught Emily drunk.
Tot M. Oh yeah, that's right. Because phonetically, that checks out. Honestly, yeah. Tot Emily drunk.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds like a bad time. For
Or
Emily.
like a horrible like Twitch name, like Thought Emily Drunk.
Yep.
Mhm.
Or horrible Pornhub entry. You know, that's what we name our.
We have talked about Pornhub more on this.
Then Overwatch, yeah. Happy 200.
Hey,
I
Happy
mean-
200 brought to you by Pornhub.
That's right.
I
Yeah, it's a
mean,
sponsorship.
I mean, let's
If
be
they want to sponsor us, I'm okay with it.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
I will push their product.
there you go.
They
And
have a lot of viewership.
you know, and some people are wondering, like, well, how does a podcast stay around for 200 episodes? Random ass banter about Pornhub. There you go.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, there's something to that. So to get into like kind of my feel of Overwatch podcasting, at least back when I did it, and maybe a little bit now, I just wanted to say that I like how you guys have kept some of that lighthearted feel in all of this, because it's tempting, and I think that like right when the Overwatch League started taking off and the teams were starting to be formed and that kind of thing, and really honestly, as soon as the game came out and the competitive scene was really ramping up, there was the temptation to go super hard in that direction. And I know you guys do with other shows like OWLN and that sort of thing. But I think there's still a place for a show where, like, yes, the topic is Overwatch, that's the focus, but to be able to go on the side banter and have just like a good time with it. And honestly, like near the end of the Cavalry, that's where I took it. I full disclosure, wasn't even playing as much then. I mean, I still was, but not as much as I did in the early days for sure. But
no.
to me, it was just the fun of like talking to my co-hosts, just talking to Slambo and Tank Zord, and
Tank
just like,
Zord.
hanging out. That's right.
I completely forgot his. I'm like, it was Maltese Slambo. I'm like,
Slambo and oh no,
who was the angry old man in the corner?
that would be him. Yeah,
That would be Tank Sword.
Steven. Yeah.
Yeah.
I won't tell him you said that, but yeah, for sure.
Oh, he is 100%. And I think he will. And no, he
No, yeah.
is the old man in the corner. He's like, get off my lawn.
And,
he does,
you know,
does know that.
I'll never forget the last BlizzCon I saw Tank Sword. There was a moment, like, I was hanging out with Bob, and we saw a tank, and, like, he just did not acknowledge us. And we're like, what the hell?
Yeah, sounds like Tank, honestly. But yeah, no, that's funny.
But yeah, like, on the topic of just, like, how we've kind of, like, structured the podcast, you know, when the Overwatch League initially came out, we definitely did see the podcast scene start to differentiate quite a bit more. This was at a time where it was less like focal point on the actual game, so we saw like less of like the core aspects of that. Then we saw a lot of like these esports podcasts popping up over time, and you know, like There was definitely a need at the time, I feel like, for us to have to, adjust with the flow of how the community's reacting to things. Because obviously the Overwatch League was a huge endeavor. A lot of people were excited to see what, like, the grand scale of things was going to be. Now we're finally seeing geolocation, traveling home and away. And, of course, that came with some drawbacks with, current situations in the world, and some teams not playing, some teams being stuck in China, other teams moving from South Korea over to LA here recently this week. But we noticed as we were going along that it was becoming harder and harder to have that focal point just being on the game itself. So we were having to,
I believe it, yeah.
Trying to adjust on the fly, seeing like what things we could incorporate into the show, whether it was nonsensical things that other podcasts wouldn't dare touch, like Rule 34, which we talk about all the time.
Yeah, okay, so on the bingo card, did you have Rule 34 for those playing on the bingo card? It's everything can be related to sex. Yep. So all our Pornhub talk falls under Rule 34.
They've already checked that box for sure.
But they may not have
cut it multiple times.
They may not have known what Rule 34 was. So I was telling them what it was.
Yep, fair enough.
You're killing me, Smalls. You're killing me.
I mean, if people don't know what Rule 34 is at this point, they clearly have never been on the internet.
Google it. Right now, Google it. Everyone out there. Especially
Google it if you're at home.
If you're at work, Google Rule 34.
Just go
and
to
then walk away from your computer.
Reddit.
Just do it on your neighbor's computer.
Yeah, head over to Reddit, reddit.com/r/Rule34Overwatch, and then do /new, and then boom. There you go. Filter all the new stuff.
Exactly. /boom.
/boom.
And /boom. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, good times.
Does this fill the joke about the uprising space?
I mean, that's a different kind of uprising.
Right.
It'll be like it's or lack thereof.
Right. Now you're talking about my problems. Okay.
Okay, they make a pill for that. But yeah, so like over the years, we've definitely been incorporated into other facets of the game. Whether it is like community involvement, shouting out, cosplays, like Lego builds, like interesting things that the community's been doing in regards to like controller setups, like Rudism has done over the years for the game. I know, like, I don't know if it was Rudism, but someone recently made like a power glove for Sombra hacks. That was pretty cool.
Oh, wow, yeah.
I like seeing different approaches to actually playing the game, and some of the control schemes have been absolutely phenomenal. But as you progress, like obviously the Overwatch League took off. Things have been going pretty well there. So we've kind of like found like that middle spot where we can focus on the core aspects of the game, the changes, what's happening on the PTR. God forbid there's any lore at any point. We'll talk about it, but. Well, we'll see how that goes with whatever this animated series is going to be that may or may not be on Netflix. But,
that'll be huge, though. I mean, for a show like this to pick up and, like, episode by episode cover, you know what I mean? Like, there's where I want to hear the reaction episodes and, like, analysis.
Mm-hmm.
Deep analysis.
No. If they do, like, Overwatch Netflix series, we will 100% do, like, episodic breakdowns.
Yeah, for sure. Mm-hmm.
Oh god, Booger timed out.
Got timed out. Feels bad, man. I could have swore he posted a link.
Oh, well,
I don't know why Nightbot is doing.
Was Booger trying to post porn?
Probably. He's probably trying to post that exact URL that you just listed.
He'll be back in a minute. But anyways.
Yeah. There he is.
Oh, he was posting the bingo board.
Oh, that he said he got bingo.
So, really? Okay. We'll have to verify.
Wait, hold on. Where did you get bingo? I'm not seeing bingo here that I'm
You've been
keeping
tracking?
up with.
Yeah.
I've been tracking, and we have not hit all of them.
I've been trying not to.
We don't have to hit all of them. We just need a bingo.
Well, no, I have.
Are we playing Blackout or are we doing a line?
No, we're doing a line. Second row horizontal.
Yeah,
No, we did do that.
they did. Yeah, you did complain about May.
Yeah, derailing the
that's
show.
it.
That's been the entire show. I mean,
Yeah,
that was most of these are kind of gimmies. So basically, what we're gonna do, at least with the bingo stuff, is anytime we get a bingo, we're gonna be throwing more prizes or more like cash towards the pool. And then we'll have like full announcements in regards to the giveaways, probably posted on our Twitter, Discord, and we'll mention it next week. But we're probably gonna have it open for a couple of weeks so we can get more people entered. But the more bingos we get, the more stuff we're going to give out. So stay tuned on that regard. So
I should intentionally throw out a few. Huh?
Maybe. So basically, like, over the course of, the week, we've been reaching out to you guys, because, you guys definitely are an integral part of the show as well, our community, in regards to, if you guys want to send us messages or anything like that, whether it's thank you, questions for us. And we did actually get quite a few responses over the week, and I'll definitely go back and look at Twitch chat to see if there was anything else on there that I know that I missed, that I haven't added to the notes as of yet. So I wanted to, save time to actually, read off all of the responses that we were getting from some of our peers, people in our Discord, same with people that have been following us over on social media as well. So Multi, why don't you go ahead and take the first one, and we'll just kind of alternate as we go through these.
For sure. And I mean, there's some names on here that I recognize, and one of them is Made You Look. So Made You Look writes, oh, heck, I'm no good at these. Just wanted to say congrats on the big 200, as you're one of the few Overwatch podcasts to reach that feat. Been listening since around episode 130, so September 2018. That doesn't feel like that long ago number-wise, but that feels like a lifetime ago.
Yeah, it's that's 70 episodes ago, but it was over a year and a half ago.
Yeah, that's how it works, but it's crazy. Anyway, and then he adds, and you two constantly crack me up. Wishing you guys nothing but the best, and I look forward to more shenanigans ahead.
Yeah, so Jess is basically being one of my movie buddies. So every Tuesday night after OWL by the Numbers, we stream scary movies on Cast. And we do a double feature every week, and I've been doing that with Jess and Vashti for a couple of years now. So it's a weekly thing that we've been doing. So definitely something that's been entrenched not only in the Cavalry community, as well as Heroes Never Die throughout the year. So Jess, thank you so much for the years of support. And man, it's hard to believe 130 was that long ago. Then again,
Right?
when we're nearing 4 years, everything just kind of blurs together at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So who knows on that front. But our next response comes from Lemon Ansu, who says, Totem and Ed, congrats on the milestone. Appreciate all of the work that gets put into the show. Know that you try to leave no stone unturned. I always get a good chuckle anytime H&D strays from the norm. I'm gonna air quote that, compared to the other Overwatch podcasts. Lemon, what are you talking about? Are you trying to tell me that no other podcast out there is covering things like Oversnatch, tentacle porn, workshop modes?
I'm starting to see a trend here. Some of our more popular things are Rule 34.
Yep, just embrace it. Go all in.
Yeah.
Gotta be the next lagging balls.
There you go.
Oh yeah, I haven't listened to them in a while.
Yeah.
I just don't. Are they still allowed to do
I
it?
think they're doing it right now. Yeah, because Jess or Thist now works for Blizzard. So
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. So this is now with them, and yeah, I don't know.
which proves that if you make enough dirty jokes on podcasts, you can work for Blizzard too.
So
Yeah. Mm.
All right. Next up, hold on. Let me find it.
What are you doing?
We have my girl Kesha. It's spelt Kesha, but it's Kesha because I refer everything back to music. Don't stop, make it drop. No. All right.
I mean, you did just hand out a square. So
I tend to sing randomly once an episode. and it was bound to happen, especially with Kesha's name dropping. You know, the party don't stop till I drop in.
I will note really quickly when Kesha posted that message on Discord, Kesha purposely put timber in emojis underneath, and I got a good chuckle out of that.
Is it because it's going down?
Yeah.
I'm going timber. You better move.
Mm-hmm.
You better no. Or do we not like the Shatner version of timber? Can I do spoken word timber?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's gonna just be a show. So Kesha wrote, where else can we get epic Christmas top 5 lists and premium Overwatch content? Christmas top 5 lists. All right. It's still a bit of a sore subject. So multi.
He's gonna put you on the spot.
Okay.
I'm putting you on the spot right now, and there's only one right answer.
At least in Ed's mind.
No, there's only one right answer.
Okay.
And his is wrong.
Die Hard.
Like whether or not it's a Christmas movie?
Yes. Christmas movie or no?
It's a Christmas movie.
Go to hell.
It's not a great Christmas movie.
Nope, it is not. You're wrong.
So,
hold on. Let me finish reading this.
tell you another one on it is a Christmas movie, at least in the podcast community, which has been heavily favored on that side of the fence.
I hate all of you. So, she goes on to say, truly forward-thinking content that sets the standards for what... sets the standard for what an Overwatch podcast should be. It's a bit much. I don't know if we set the standard. I don't think anything I do should be considered the standard.
We might have set certain bars.
Look, if the empty couch video goes somewhere, then we have set a new standard.
We will. Yeah,
that's right.
If we do the somber porn of just a couch.
That's right.
We will.
To be fair, Kesha doesn't specify how good of a standard it is. Like, it can be a pretty
true.
low
It could be
standard.
setting a substandard. Yeah.
That is very true. So thank you so much for the dedication. Here's to another 200. If we hit episode 400, I might shoot myself.
Did Kesha say that? Or no, that's you. You added it.
Yeah, no. I added that last bit.
I'm just making sure that she's okay.
Kesha's like, if I have to listen to YouTube for another 200 episodes, I'm killing myself.
It's done. Yeah, right.
Oh, man.
Oh, no. That just got dark. All right, should I do the next one here?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, it's from Danta. Let's go with Danta. Been listening for just over 12 months now, and it's been a pleasure. It's been a while since I heard a crazy Ed story. My favorites have to be the ones with nose waxing and the one about pencils. I also thought it was awesome more recently when you got the World Cup coach on the show. Look forward to many more episodes to come.
All right, so Multi, have you ever waxed inside your nose?
No, but I have to trim it because otherwise my wife yells at me.
No. Okay, I will 100% say. So, like, I've started when I've gone to get my beard cut. Not so much the dome. I'm a little bit on the bald side.
Yeah, it's all right. That's right.
So, but the nose, she waxes it, and it doesn't hurt. You would think it would hurt, and it doesn't.
But doesn't every allergen ever get in there now because you've got nothing protecting your brain from all of that?
No, you actually breathe better.
Well, yeah, you don't have hair there, but the hair's there for a reason.
Yeah, but if you have to trim it anyway, why not just get rid of it?
I hope my wife doesn't listen to this now. That's me on Saturday.
Why do you shave your face?
Because I can't grow a beard like you.
But you still shave it. Like, it's still hair. It serves a purpose.
Yeah, fair.
I highly recommend waxing your nostrils.
Okay. Maybe.
So, I will have another crazy Ed story for the end of this show.
Perfect.
Okay, good. Hold you to it.
All right, so our next comment comes from Medic, who says, I've been listening to H&D for around 2.5 years now, and love the amount of ground y'all cover. The chemistry between hosts is stronger than it's ever been, even if T tries to stonewall Ed's attempts at humor whenever he can. Hope to see more guest spots soon. Well, we've actually had more recently than, honestly, that's back-to-back weeks. I don't think we've ever done that.
of you stonewalling my jokes?
No, I'm
That's
not
like
having
every
a guest
week.
spot. I mean, Ed, some traditions I just can't let pass by. I did it to Draven, it carried over. It's not gonna change.
It's not me and Draven's fault that you have no sense of humor.
I mean, it could be.
But yes.
My question is, if Ed has sabotaged this show and then you, Totem, have stonewalled his jokes, how is this still a show? I feel like you're both trying to bring this down.
See? Totem's trying to bring me down.
It's all good. It's all good.
But yes, we will continue to have more guests. I have thoughts on that in the future that I have not shared with Totem.
I get scared anytime Ed has an idea.
I may just start bringing people on and just not telling Totem.
Do it.
Yeah,
he gets on the call.
Oh,
There's
okay.
another thing.
Gets on the call. There's another person here.
Well, see, the bad part about that, Ed, is the fact that, one, you would have to first add them, and it actually tells you when someone joins.
I would do it like last minute. Be like, hey, by the way, we're bringing in this person. Haha, sucks to be you. This is the perk of not having to do any editing or any of that stuff post-show. Yeah, like, that's the best thing about this show. I don't have
Ed
to
doesn't
do
try.
anything.
Nope.
Like, he even... Like, so those of you who may have ever recorded a podcast, it used to be you had to record from all sides and then you kind of submit it together and you kind of have to mesh it. Well, Totem now has this thing where he just records it on his sides. So I legit don't have to do shit except show up, drink my whiskey, and talk a lot. It's a win-win for me.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I still submit my audio track in my podcast. What are we doing wrong? Totem, you need to sit down with Brian Black and have a word or two about how to do it.
Bro.
From Rail Maintenance.
What is he doing? You would think after all of these years of like setting these scenes up, he'd be able to hold his own at this point.
Yeah, he's like the podcasting guy, kind of, but he's just missing that little step. That's all. No big deal.
Yeah.
He's also he's missing the Overwatch stuff. Primarily.
That too.
I gave him updated sheet. I'm still waiting on him to update some stuff. But that's fine. We love Fro. Everyone knows how much he does for the podcast scene across Blizzard games as a whole, and we do appreciate everything that goes into that. Lord knows I've definitely had more than my fair share of weeks lately with the Overwatch side of the Weekly Recall that has been posted a day late, which includes this week. Like, I'm not going to lie about that. That was primarily because, C2E2 and show prep for
Slacker.
Unbelievable. So, Ed, why don't you go ahead and take the next one then?
Wait, which one are we on? Medic.
No,
Tommy.
One down.
Damn it, Tommy. So Tommy was our guest last week. Fusion fan. I've been listening since 2018, so I look forward to the show every week. My favorite moment in H&D was on episode 198, where Tommy was right about Poco starting over Fury against NYXL, proving Ed wrong. How did this work out this past week, Tommy? Suck it. It was then followed by Fury getting his first Philadelphia appearance against Boston because we could throw as hard as we want and still win. Hashtag played Fury over Poco is throwing.
Oh, okay. For starters, I'm pretty sure Philadelphia had a soft matchup before that where they didn't play Fury. So, like, the whole point about, well, we could throw as hard as we can doesn't really hold ground.
Mm-hmm. So,
but that's just me.
Tommy, your argument is invalid and thrown out the window. But thank you for listening.
Yeah, and Dante's asking...
Hashtag playing Poco over Furious throwing.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Hashtag it is right. Hashtag it just is. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Dante's asking, real talk, what is Deadeye that you mention every week on each show? Deadeye... Okay. Deadeye is this ultimate ability by this character who's pretty prominent in the Overwatch League.
He's a badass motherfucker.
He's a BMMF.
So the belt says.
And he has this weird glove, and he has a 6-shooter. And then he pops his ult, and for anyone that isn't Dr. Disrespect, you basically wait for all of those, like, skulls to appear, and then you hit left click, right? And then it fires all of the shots, depending on, like, how many skulls appear on your screen. And then
Now, is that the actual-
you're supposed to get kills.
Is that the actual name of the ability?
Yes.
We call it Deadeye. Okay. It's kind of like, well, it's kind of like we call, Hammond, but his name is Wrecking Ball.
Sure.
So
But
it's
no,
like,
that's the
I'm
name.
like, do we just call it Deadeye? I'm like, has it been so long? I'm like,
Even
it's just
remember.
Deadeye.
Even I remember that that's the name of that ultimate, and I don't know what Moira's right click does. So,
And you're like, who the f is this Hammond?
Yeah, right.
Like, you just said Hammond Wrecking Ball, like, over my head.
I know that one's he's a gerbil, right? I'm just
He's
kidding.
the hamster.
Yes, I know. I'm being very
Well,
speciesist against these.
Who else have you missed? Moira, Hammond, Baptiste, who
Baptiste, yeah.
I have gotten
Doomfist.
over. I've gotten over my
Orisa.
calling Baptiste a she when it's a he.
Yeah, and Sigma.
Yeah, Sigma. So those are the ones I've missed. Yeah.
We have a
Ash.
character who has no shoes or socks and just has his feet dangling. It's very creepy.
Oh yeah, and Ash, and more importantly, Bob.
Bob,
And
yes.
and his toes are really long too, right?
Yeah, it's very
Toes.
weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, someone has a
And
foot
yet
fetish.
still cool kit. But
Again, Rule 34 Sigma
pretty much, yeah.
on Pornhub.
I'm sure that's there.
Well,
Totem's like, I don't
Who
want to
knows?
scrub my search history looking up Sigma feet on
You've got enough
Pornhub.
viruses already in the search you already did on this show.
Like,
Hey,
Pornhub's
hey.
algorithm in the background is going to be like, what the hell are we going to recommend this to this guy?
No, it already knows.
they got to cover all grounds on that end. But Multi, why don't you go ahead and take the next one, which is actually from one of our network hosts in Booger.
That's right. So Booger writes, big congrats to HND on episode 200. Love the show. It was one of the first Overwatch podcasts I got into. I hope one day to rival Ed in 5-star review complaints. Cheers to the next 200. P.S. Totem is hereby anointed forevermore as the king of show notes. And given the font at which we're reading these show notes, I am going to agree. Very unusual font.
I will say, like, I don't know if anyone will ever reach the level of complaints that Ed gets, but there is a saving grace here. The fact that they've all been brought over to Drop in Spicy, so there's a window that is slightly open now, where
Wait,
maybe...
how did we go about talking about you? Never mind. I was talking about your king of show notes. Forgot about the rival of 5-star review complaints. Awkward.
We mentioned like 40 seconds ago.
Shut up.
So are these complaints you would get, but it's in a 5-star review? Am I right? Okay. Well, that's not a complaint then.
No, they are. They are. They
you got a
literally
good rating.
complain about me in a 5-star review. They're like,
That is a net win, though, is what I'm trying to
it
say.
is a net win.
Yeah.
I do remember getting one review where they gave us like a 3, and it's like, Totem 5, Edinar 1, I gave you the average.
Oh, gosh.
I get called, oh, God, I'm the Colin Cowherd of...
Oh, God. Oh, no.
Yes.
Even
Yeah.
I want to stop listening to this now.
So...
no. That is... Oh, sorry. No,
that 201 and done, that much closer.
if you want to talk later, I'll be a shoulder for you to cry on.
I'm
That's
okay
a
with it.
rough one.
Yeah, no. Like, now I'm just getting it on my Apex podcast.
Mhm.
So,
Oh yeah.
I'll let Ja over at Mash Those Buttons deal with that stuff.
Good old job. I remember that guy.
All right, so the next couple of responses we got were sent over on Twitter. So the first one is from Michael O'Hara, who says, and this was like posting, favorite moments from the show. Draven Dressen successfully predicting Sombra on episode 33. Man, that is definitely going back quite a ways there. Being a part of a guest host history of H&D is a very fun moment for me. And I was trying to think about like how many guest spots we've actually had in 200 episodes. And honestly, I don't even think that number is greater than 10, if I'm being honest.
Oh, really?
It's been very, very minuscule compared to, some of the other projects we've done. Obviously, like Overwatch Recall is its own thing where obviously it's an interview, so it's kind of a given. But we definitely want to keep bringing in more community members on the show. Just want to keep things fresh, seeing if they can derail and talk about Rule 34 as much as us, things like that, all of that good stuff. But, Michael Hara's been with us for the really early goings of the podcast, even back when we were still trying to sort out exactly, who we are as a podcast and the growing pains of the early goings when, I had no idea what the hell I was doing. And, honestly, there's been recent weeks where the show openings have been absolute shit. Because it either doesn't transition right or my mixer profile changes to a different shows, and then I end up hitting the wrong sounder. So, even after all these episodes, shit still goes down.
Mm-hmm. And honestly, it's just better when it does. Flat out, like some of the best podcasts I listen to are ones that like have awkward intros intentionally or any of this other stuff. I just crack up every time. It's all good. Mm-hmm.
We're not awkward here.
No, I wasn't accusing you.
No, we are.
Such,
He's accusing me.
Sir. Well, no comment.
Wait, hold on. First off, what is the thing that the guy said that you always say on
let me pull up Twitter.
Yeah, because that's not on the bingo board.
Well, that was on
what?
That was on a different podcast.
Yeah, but you still say it over here.
Not that often, comparatively. It was mostly just that episode. I'm trying to find it. Notifications. And just keep talking to fill downtime.
Okay.
I gotta scroll through.
This is what I excel at. Just talking about random stuff.
Filling stuff, yeah.
You
could read the next thing.
So we're on Ice Ham Jello, right?
That's right, which is an amazing name.
Yes, Ice Ham Jello. Yeah. This is a very quick one. The plural for moose is meese.
Yes, that is a fact. I feel like I just pointed that out to someone last month or so. It feels super recent. I'm 100% with you on this.
Like, okay, here's the thing. Here's my thought, the Ed thought on this one. Did the person who's like named a group of moose a meese get like work with geese too much or gooses too much and been like, you know what? Screw this. I'm just gonna change the first letter, and we're calling it a day.
Yeah, I think it works that way.
Lazy ass.
Oh, okay. I found the tweet.
Animal namers? I don't even know who it would be. Lazy ass animal namers.
So it's all about like, does the word sound super awkward if it has like mooses? Super awkward. No one wants to hear that. And like cactuses, that's why it's cacti. So plural walrus should also be walry. Is how this works.
So, but if moose are meeses,
it's just meese.
But couldn't that also be construed as multiple mice?
Maybe. Yeah, the mice mouse thing is a little weird.
Because if a Christmas Carol has taught us anything, it's
because like plural house is houses, and that's fine. So why isn't plural mouse mouses? Like that checks out to me. I'm okay with that. But...
Damn you, English language.
That's right.
Curse you.
All right, so I did find the tweet, and this was from Thomas Baker on Twitter, who said, if I took a shot every time Totem said at this point in the podcast, I'd be sloshed in 10 minutes. And he specifically meant this was from OWL by the numbers here, I think last week or the week prior.
I don't know. Totem definitely has his key phrases he likes to say to get the conversation moving along. To like try and get us back on rail.
You have to some degree. So yeah.
So I'll read the next one. because Ice Ham Jello, the Plumfamooses Mises. I'll just read the next one. That really wasn't much. So
Bob's freaking out. Because Multi's here, I'm sure.
Hi, Bob.
Bob,
Bob.
do something. Jesus.
Hi, Bob.
Please just do anything, Bob.
It is a wild Multizord has appeared and manifested himself and guested on episode 200.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So the next comment is from Avorin. Holy cow! Exclamation. Hand jazz. Hard to believe it's been 200 episodes. Love everything that gets put in the show, from the running gags between different Overwatch podcasts, playful trolling towards OWL, certain OWL teams. Houston. And covering all facets of the game. Congrats, H&D. Well, thank you very much for that.
Yeah, and speaking of covering like all facets, we have to cover the good and the bad. And because of that includes how terrible
the bad,
how
you
terrible
have
the
the facts of
uprising
Overwatch.
and the Outlaws. But at least the Outlaws actually won a game. I mean, congrats. I still put you 20th for the week.
I mean, how many maps did it take them to get? Is their first win? Is it almost rivaling Shanghai Season 1? Like in terms of maps, I think it's almost got to that point.
I'll have to go back to see what the maps.
Obviously, it has not, but it's a joke on the Houston Outlaws.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just a matter of how close were they to that record, because that was a pretty extended time period without a map win as well.
So, all right, they're calling me out for no Star Wars talk. So I will do Star Wars talk here real quick. Now, Multi, are you a Star Wars nerd?
Oh, well, I mean, to a degree, yes.
Okay. Have you seen the new Clone Wars?
No. So I told you, to a degree. I've seen everything but Clone Wars, actually.
Okay, so there was a meme on this newest episode that is not spoilery in any way.
Okay, good, because I was about to hang up.
Unless you haven't seen the first the prequels.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, leave call button. Oh,
Yes.
you mean episodes 1 through 3?
Yes.
Oh, I've repressed those. So
but
I
do you
got
know?
nothing.
All right. First off, do you know who Anakin Skywalker married?
Oh, his sister. No, that was the other guy.
Padme.
kidding. Yes, I know, Padme.
Padme. Okay, so there was a part in the episode where he was hiding, calling Padme, but Rex knows the secret. So he was like watching the door, like so nobody would interrupt his call with Padme. And then they leave, and Kenobi's looking for them. And he's like, "Did you at least tell Padme I said hello?" And the meme is like the look on their face, like afterwards. And it's like, "Oh shit, here we go." Like, oh, it was great. I guess you have to watch it.
Yeah.
I'm just nodding my head. Yep. Mm-hmm.
In regards to like Everett's comments about kind of like the run-in gags, I mean, we've obviously as an Overwatch community, especially on the podcast side, been very tight-knit. I mean, a lot of us are friends, dating back to like their closed beta days. And we've definitely over the years have tried to keep things alive in certain retrospects for certain podcasts out there. So obviously with Multi here being a major part of the Cavalry and the Church of Kaplan, he has
That's
a black
right.
belt in the Dad Joke Dojo. We
Really? Are you just throwing this in there to let them win at
this is
bingo?
going somewhere.
When's the
Ed.
last time we talked about Dad Joke Dojo?
When
I
I
talk about it all
announced
the
that
time.
Multizord was coming on the podcast.
That's right,
The
that's
last
right.
time. So not that long ago, actually, Ed, for your information. But basically, like, all of us have been using the Papa Jeffy Cap, which is now changed. I don't know if you've noticed this. So during the Overwatch 2,
change.
It is.
Praise him.
during the
Praise him.
Overwatch 2 reveal, he came out and like the lower third for his name was Jeffrey Kaplan.
Oh,
So
gross.
Yeah,
ever
weird.
since then, we've been calling him Papa Jeffrey Cap, and of course, we praise him after.
Yeah.
Praise him.
So,
Papa Jeffrey Cap, praise him.
so ever since that point, he is no longer Jeff. He is Jeffrey. So it has kind of evolved over the course of the time, and we'll see whether or not that's going to change again at any point. But as soon as there's like another video where it's changed, maybe we'll revert back. I don't know, but we've definitely had a lot of run-in gags between shows. We honestly all like to troll one another in our respective podcasts as well. And it keeps us close together, and just it keeps our memories and the fond moments that we've had in the podcast and as friends alive that much further. And obviously the cavalry was a major part of that.
I'll say this about. I was just gonna say. I'll say this about the Church of the Cavalry, or the Church of Kaplan, rather. And it's just that I know it was kind of a joke and a running gag for a while, but it's also the closest to truly being religious I've ever been. So I hold it in my heart to this day. Okay. What were you gonna say? Sorry, I cut you off.
No. No, like what I was gonna say. Oh God, I'm losing my train of thought already. Damn you, whiskey.
Are you cursing whiskey? What is wrong with you?
I don't know. Move on. No. I remembered. So Multi, have you ever done the panels out at Con Before the Storm?
Yep, a couple of them. I did a. Interestingly, although I'm kind of known for a Heroes of the Storm show that's also ended, I've done Overwatch and Hearthstone.
Yeah, and the one thing I've kind of gathered, even being out there this past year, and we did the Overwatch panel at Con Before the Storm, is every other like game, everyone just kind of like went up there and they did their thing. They together, like went up on stage together, all that stuff, and then they kind of separate after that. The Overwatch community as a whole, and it's one of those things where we went up there and then we all hang out afterwards. Like we all hung out the whole weekend, and you don't see that with any other Blizzard game.
That is cool
in my mind. So yeah, like we were talking about like the community and dealing with the ribbing of the the High Noon guys and the Omnic Lab guys and some weird OWL recap show that some boomer is on. I can't remember. His name might be Bob.
Do they even let boomers play this game? Like I thought that you just wouldn't have the APM for it.
I don't. And the fighting me and Melorina have had, it has been quite historic. But yeah, we have this intertangling of Overwatch podcasts.
Yeah.
That kind of all go, but a lot of it goes back to you, specifically you, Multi.
Yeah. I appreciate that.
I mean, I'm not gonna throw out the love for Multi even more than we already have, but like Bob said, Bob and Mel got their start with you.
True.
Slambo kind of got his start with you. Totem had his own show, but then kind of merged with Slambo and got to go. I grew because of you.
Yeah.
So a lot of the podcast universe in Overwatch is based around the original Cavalry, which you had started, and I don't know. No, I'm just getting sentimental.
No, it's for sure, because like I will say the first Overwatch Con Before the Storm, when I went up there, I knew most of the people for sure, and a lot of those shows aren't around anymore now for sure, mine included, at least with me. But yeah, we didn't have that feel then. Like I knew John Horstman from other things, and he'd guested on my show once and that kind of thing, and he was the moderator for it. But yeah, we didn't have that camaraderie. Like we kind of got up there, did our piece, and it was cool. I enjoyed the conversation, and I enjoyed trying to like troll them a little bit and say that I wanted 4 heroes a year and that kind of thing, which by the way, it turned out to be 3. I kind of won that battle. But but then, yeah, when it was done, we all kind of like, we would go up to each other and chat, and we'd follow each other on Twitter and that kind of thing. But a lot of it just kind of fizzled out from there at that point. So it's good to see that like after that, the podcasting community then gelled even more, moving forward into like the release of the game and then Overwatch League, and that it's just been keeping up since. That's great to hear, for sure.
Yeah, the amount of like side discords we have with just Overwatch content creators is kind of ridiculous.
Oh yeah,
At this point,
I can see that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So it looks like we have one other Discord message that was sent in. And this is from another
Does
one
it
of our
count? Does it
one of our
count?
hosts. I mean,
Sure.
Spider was an important part of our network, so absolutely. So, Multi, why don't you go ahead and take this one, and then I'll scroll through chat to double check if we got anything on that front.
Yep, sounds good. So yeah, Spider wrote, crazy to think HND has made it to episode 200. I remember way back in the day, I guest co-hosted on episode 25, and that seems like yesterday. Keep on being the best variety OW and just one of the best podcasts overall. Keep up the good work, guys, and here's to 200 more. Just promise us that you won't kill yourself after that next 200. Like our other person who wrote in.
Yeah, awkward.
Awkward. Anyway, yeah. Again, that just got really dark. I gotta stop taking this to a dark place.
Right?
Yeah, man.
Oh,
It is like
Mel's
I'm
in
trying to
chat
sabotage
too.
you.
Well, it's
Oh, what?
Mel's in chat.
Maybe it's
Hey,
the
Mel.
fact that you've basically been in the abyss all of this time, at least in the Overwatch side of things. That
Yeah.
you've just been apart from society and everything, and your mind has just wandered endlessly.
Yeah,
since
they've
that
got
point.
me frozen in stasis. Somehow you guys thawed me out for just this. So thank you. Mel.
Mel's in chat. Mel's like, we don't have heroes in silver, Ed. Yeah, but they do have mercies in silver. Mainly in silver.
Okay, so just scrolling through chat, just reading some of the comments. Some of them aren't even congratulatory messages, but stuff that definitely needs to be pointed out. Draven mentioned was the title of the 8 Doomfist 1 Tracer video called My Dawn. That's another throwback where
Oh,
we had a certain team that was in well, at the time playing in tournaments called My Dawn, which was kind of like a combination of like it was like IDDQD essentially, which was their other iteration.
Tavik.
Yeah, had Tavik or Pluppy for his OG name, and then like a lot of the podcasts that were around at that time, all without talking to one another, named their episodes after that team, and the amount of confusion that we gave Ro that week has been honestly like one of my fondest memories of something we have done as a community, even if it was something that was not intentional or planned.
Yep, I still remember. So one of my fondest memories of BlizzCon this past year is me and Bob. No alcohol involved. We were not drinking.
I'm already surprised, but go on.
That might be a lie. But me and Bob run into Tavik at like some after party at the Sheraton or whatever. And we go up there and I'm like, the first thing I can say is, well, first off, like, you're awesome. Like, I followed you. And then we started talking about My Dog. Like, he's like, that was a great name. And then I told the exact story about how all the Overwatch podcasts named their episodes My Dog in honor of him. So we named all our episodes after Tavik's dog.
Yeah, so there was
Powerful
like
dog.
My Dawn comes up a lot, Reinforce My Dawn. I'm trying to remember what the other ones were. I know those two were ours because we actually did back-to-back weeks. And I just remember, I don't remember if it was after the first week or the second week that everyone else abandoned it, and we were still rolling with it.
I think when I did the initiative, we named it after Cisco's song instead of thong to thong thong thong. It was just dong to dong dong dong.
Yep.
I think that's what we went with.
That's a logical move. By the way, Bob in the chat is saying that you were definitely drinking.
We were.
3 exclamations.
No, all right. I did not get a picture with Papa and Jeffrey Cap that night, but
Praise
I
him.
did praise him. I did get a picture with the leader of my arch nemesis team, the Houston Outlaws, with Jake.
Pretty good.
But at that point, he actually wasn't with the Houston Outlaws, but he just couldn't tell anybody.
Can I ask a
That was
personal
before
question?
he had a
Yes, you
retired
can.
jersey.
Personal question.
Have either of you guys touched Jeffrey Kaplan yet?
I have not.
Shake his hand.
We haven't.
I'm not saying anything weird. It's like a handshake.
Like you haven't gone
Mel
up.
says, "I have."
Just like petted his face.
That's
That
like
would
Like
be
you just
fine,
walk
too.
up, hi Jeff.
that's
Yeah,
like
I feel
the
like that's
one
fine.
thing that Mel always hangs over her head.
Yes, she should. No, she's one. She gave him a hug.
Mhm.
I need to hear this story. Okay, cool.
I
We will
think
chat
it
later.
starts and ends with I gave Jeff Kaplan a hug.
That's one of the best stories I've ever heard.
Yeah, there
Praise
you
him.
go.
So scrolling back, Joseph, aka Jay-Z, says, "Congratulations on the 200th episode, guys. Cheers to 200 more." We have
Don't kill yourself.
Thomas Baker, who was the one that brought up one of the totemisms, saying, "Congrats on 200. I'm the guy who tweeted at you about the drinking game. So glad I got to stop by for a live episode." We have Mental, who says, "Hey boys, thanks for the 200 plus episodes of content. I guess if you count the one-offs, that would technically be true. I'm excited for many more. Thanks for helping me through tough times. And good. I love you guys, and congrats." Let's see, what else? Our chat has been popping, so
Yeah.
I gotta see.
Booger Brain says, "Message deleted by a moderator." Message deleted by a moderator.
Yes. All right, hold on.
I
Before forget.
Okay.
Before I forget, crazy Ed story.
Okay.
Have I told you the one about getting robbed at Disney?
No, but you're definitely filling in another panel
Okay.
with this. But go on.
All right. So I was with an ex and her daughter. We went down to Disney World. Amazing time. And I highly recommend it. I had dinner in Cinderella's castle. Time of my life. It was awesome. So we're in Magic Kingdom. And my phone rings. And I get a call from my landlord. And he's like, we had 3 dogs at the time, and we had a house sitter that would come over and let the dogs out. Who let the no? And our landlord calls, and he's like, "Hey, all the dogs are running around the yard, like no leash, nothing."
Mhm.
So he's like, he went and gathered them all up, and he's like, he gets into the house, and he's like, "You've been robbed." So I'm at the Magic Kingdom, the happiest place on earth.
Mhm.
And I just find out my house has been robbed. I go to the nearest person after I hang up and I said, "I need alcohol."
Yeah.
And they're like, "We don't serve any here." And then he's like, the guy was actually very cool. And he's like, I explained what happened. He's like, "The best thing you can do, just go to downtown Disney,
Mhm.
go to the Rainforest Cafe,
Yep. Hmm.
and sit at the bar." So my girlfriend and her daughter went back to the room. I took a separate bus down to downtown Disney. I'm here, lonely guy drunk at the Amazon Rainforest Cafe. And they just start buying me drinks because they have just pity for me because I got robbed
Mhm.
while at Disney World. So that is
That's-
Ed got robbed while at Disney World.
Oof.
Did the happiest place on earth balance that out at all?
It
No,
actually
clearly
kinda
not, because you
did.
had to bail. Yeah.
No. We didn't leave early. We just at the end of the night, because I mean, my ex's daughter was sick. She could
Mhm.
we started at Disney at 10 a.m. She wasn't lasting, she wasn't staying awake past 7 o'clock at
Gotcha.
that point. So we went back. They went to she put her down to bed, watched TV, and I went out and got drunk.
Yeah, checks out. You know, Tangzord worked at a Rainforest Cafe for years. Fun
Which
fact.
one?
One
Kansas?
Here, yeah, Kansas, something. I can't tell between
Which,
Kansas and Missouri.
which state?
Yeah, I can't even tell. That's the point.
Did he play the role of an animatronic?
Oh, of course, yeah. He was just a tree hanging over one of the tables.
He was he was one of the dinosaurs.
That's right.
Wait, all right. So have I shared the Power Rangers one?
And it's so hard
Not
to
that I
keep
know of.
track of these.
Okay, sorry if I repeat. This is another good Ed story. So when I was probably 10, 11, Power Rangers was huge.
Mhm.
which I think Multi you can
I mean,
attest to.
the fact that it's still around,
True.
tests it.
So me and some friends and my sister and some of her friends, we're down on the side of the road thinking it's a great effing idea that when cars drive by at night, mind you, for us to jump out, like lay down, and when they drive past, we jump up next to the road and pretend we're Power Rangers. And so we're doing this, and we're doing the arm thing out, and,
Of course,
and then we get like 4 cars in, and one slams on the brakes, and which is the response you kind of are going for, but you don't want to see.
Right. Because now you're thinking, am I gonna get shot?
Yeah, exactly. So this person slams on the brakes. We fucking run. Now, granted, we're in my parents' front yard. It's not like it's going to be hard for them to find us. I'm booking it. Everyone's booking it. We had just planted like 20 trees in the yard. And if you plant new trees, you have metal rods that they're attached to. Now, you can kind of see where this story is going. So, middle of the night, Ed and I is running, trying to escape this killer who stopped their car. In my mind, he was coming to kill us all. Face first into the metal pole, like full force, face into the metal pole.
So did it go through the face?
No, it did not, because if it went through my face, I would be dead.
Not necessarily. I was thinking maybe that's why you had the beard, to cover up this like giant scar.
No giant scar here. So, but the best part, turns out the car was actually one of the parents of the kids who was coming to pick up their child, and missed the driveway and realized they missed it because all the kids jumped up on the side of the road. So that is my Ed Power Ranger story.
It's a good one.
Man.
I'm done with the Ed stories tonight.
I do like the fact that I had to permit the use of the word Pornhub.
Yes.
in chat.
How else are they going to get involved in the conversation?
High Noon, thanks for the happy 200. Appreciate you guys. I'm here undercover from High Noon Podcast to make sure you guys hit it first. I explained that earlier.
Yeah, because they're using Deadeye. Remember that? The name of the ability?
Deadeye? Yeah.
Well, apparently not everyone remembers it because they just don't see enough McCree.
That's true. Hey, if McCree can shoot that well as he does during Deadeye, why doesn't he just do it all the time? Like, come on. Why does he miss a shot? That's a lore question, and I want that answered on Netflix.
Or whatever streaming service that it ends up on.
Yeah, pretty much. Hulu. Is Hulu a streaming service?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's still a streaming service.
That's the one I don't do. I've got a blind spot for Hulu. Everything else I've subscribed to, but that one, I don't know. Anyway, I digress. What were we talking about?
I don't know. Pornhub?
That I subscribe to.
Okay, fair enough. Do you have to subscribe to Pornhub?
Well,
I think you can.
After this, Multi's just going to start a new playlist.
Is that what the subscription gets you? I don't know these things.
Well, I would assume you have to subscribe for us to turn in our Sombra invisible.
Oh, that's true. Yeah,
like
what
just
we need to post.
Sombra porn that is just a couch with no one sitting on it.
If we don't do that, someone's going to, and I'm gonna watch it.
You're gonna watch it once and be like, "Damn you!"
That's right.
Scuba Steve, damn you!
Oh man.
Yep.
Good times. All right. Well, we are actually past when we would normally be starting Overwatch League Network. I'm not too worried about that, just because, like, I mean,
Screw
let's
those
be
guys.
real. Like, they could wait. They knew tonight was momentous.
It's episode 200.
It's 200.
Yeah, right.
We only do this once. And it's not like we don't have Multi on every week either. So we're going over.
And you knew I was gonna just ramble half the time, so yeah, checks out for sure.
Well, I mean, we ramble 90% of the time anyways because of it. So,
Yeah.
You're just added
Shut
on
up,
to that.
Burger. Nobody cares about your show.
No, it's not Owl and Network. That's not a thing.
Yeah, I used to screw that up all the time, Booger. Don't feel
It's like saying PIN number or
There you go.
ATM machine.
yeah. You're
I'm
like,
really triggered right now.
go watch Overwatch League Network.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm also got to go record our recap. Happy 200 boys. But yeah, they'll be going live shortly before us. But we know you guys are just gonna stay here. I mean, let's be real. You're already here anyway, so you might as well stick around as I try to talk about matches I haven't watched because of C2E2. Fun time.
So it's kind of like somebody talking about Overwatch who hasn't played it in a few years.
Kind of.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I can't remember any instance where that's ever happened.
Can you describe Moira's right click is the question. If so,
Moira's
head of the
right
game.
click is officially if you eat too much
Oh,
chocolate.
okay.
Way
Hold
too
on.
much
Hold
chocolate.
on.
Then
Hold on.
you,
like, we're talking dark chocolate, 42% cacao.
42%
Like
cacao
just-
chocolate. And by the bucket load.
Mm-hmm.
You're snorting that stuff like freaking
Just injecting it straight in your veins. Yeah, you got an IV.
So Deathblow was saying all you need to know is that Houston is reformed. Let's not put the cart before the horse, okay? Like, one win doesn't offset all of the crap that came before it. So we'll see. I don't know. Let's give it a few more. Oh yeah, you only move them to 19. Okay. So they had nowhere to go but up.
Fair.
The dive is clear.
All right. Should we end the show?
Yeah,
This has been fun.
I
suppose.
think it's about time that we wrap up. So I can go grab another drink before the next show. So guys, again, the best thing to do for really any podcast out there, jump over to iTunes, write out a review. Just will let us know how we're doing. We're always looking for feedback or constructive criticism. Let us know how much you don't like Ed.
Yeah, I haven't
And your
got
5 stars.
I haven't gotten a hateful Ed comment with 5 stars in a while.
Yeah, we should
I think
change
it's time. Yep. Maybe I'll leave one.
that would be perfect.
You're like, great show. Screw that Ednar guy.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, any complaints can be tweeted at H&D Overwatch on Twitter, or you could email us at contact@owlnshow.com. You know, just any place. You can even DM it to me over on Discord as well. But anyways, you know, we're always looking for ways to improve the show, and any insight you guys can lend us, be sure to do that, because, you know, we're an open book here. Like, we talk about literally anything Overwatch. So if we can somehow add even more to that, I don't know how that's possible, but, you know, maybe there's something that we quite haven't thought of yet that maybe one of our listeners knows on that end. Now, if you guys are looking to find additional Overwatch content, we do have Overwatch Recall, which is our podcast directory, where you can find Overwatch, Overwatch League, Path to Pro, Fantasy Overwatch League podcasts over on our website. And then every Sunday or Monday, given the week, we do the episodic listen, which is Weekly Recall. So to keep up with the latest, find us on Twitter at OW Recall. Now, if you guys would like to support our podcast network, you can do a couple of things. We are a Twitch affiliate, so Twitch Prime subs greatly appreciated. Otherwise, the sub cost is $4.99. We also do have a Patreon at patreon.com/OWL Network, where we have tiers starting at just $1 a month. So you too can join the likes of our master and above patrons, Boomer Bob, Brendan, Jay-Z, Owl, Kesha, and Agent Life, and helping our network grow. And again, guys, I really appreciate everyone that stopped by tonight to, you know, show us love, send us messages, all of that good stuff. We greatly appreciate all of that. Happy to see the turnout that we did have. But Ed, you know, why don't we let our listeners know how they can get a hold of us should they want to actually send us, you know, those complaints for you specifically.
Yes. All right. So you can reach us through email at hndoverwatch@gmail.com. We are over on Twitter, and that's at hndoverwatch. We do have a website that is www.owlnshow.com. We do post stuff on YouTube, and that's youtube.com/Overwatch League Network. We are on Discord, so come over there and you can harass me in person at discord.me/OWLnshow. As Totem said, we are a Twitch affiliate. Sorry. The reason you're hearing that cough is because I refuse to mute to better your bingo boards.
He's a hand cougher. He's gonna spread it to all of us. Anyway,
So you can come over and watch us on Twitch at twitch.tv/OWLN show. Help support the show by subscribing to our channel and earn our network emoticon. Our podcast network does stream pretty regularly. So we have the Overwatch League Network, which airs Mondays at 7 p.m. Pacific. We have OWL by the Numbers, our fantasy podcast, which airs Tuesdays at 6 p.m. Pacific. And then we have this show, Heroes Never Die, usually on Wednesdays, but I'm on vacation, airs Wednesdays at 5 p.m. Pacific. You can contact me personally on Twitter at EdinarOverwatch or over on Twitch at twitch.tv/Edinar, where I'm starting to do my Apex/Star Wars The Fallen Order playthrough for the first time. Got 2 hours into that this weekend. That game is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Totem, where can they find you?
Well, you can find me on Twitter. That would be at TotemlyDrunkCTR. And I do stream on Twitch, typically Monday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. That's at twitch.tv/TotemlyDrunk, where it's primarily a mixture of Overwatch and Hearthstone Battlegrounds, as I'm gonna try to get back that, 500 rating that I basically lost since I was, so close to 6K. On that
You
note...
can do it. Just don't play dragons. Don't do it.
Oh, yeah, there...
0 dragons.
There
Dragons
are
are
some
not
that
good.
are okay, but across the board, it's pretty rough on that note. But of course,
Well, everyone's forcing them, so
Yeah.
just don't do it.
yeah,
Everyone's forcing them, and they're only really good early to mid game. Late game, they're
Mhm.
not good.
Yeah.
definitely rough on that end. But Multi, I do want to thank you again for joining us tonight on episode 200. Obviously, it meant a lot to us to have you on as really, the guy who brought us both into the podcast scene within
No,
Overwatch.
thank you.
So always nice to, catch up with you. So why don't you go ahead and let our listeners know, basically, what's been going on with you, how they can contact you, what podcast stuff, anything like that you would like to plug.
For sure. And thanks for having me on, and congrats one more time. Definitely glad to be here. You can find me on Twitter is the main place at Multizord. But the podcast that I do is called Hearth Casual, on Twitter at Hearth Casual, and you can search it in various podcast entities out there. And so it's a casual show, as the name suggests. but we go over anything Hearthstone. We're one of the shows that kind of goes deep into Tavern Brawl, which, if you're a Hearthstone fan, you might have heard me say that and go, oh, I'm not going to check this out. But we get into Battlegrounds, and we do everything else there as well. So we actually just recently had our episode 50, which doesn't sound like a big deal compared to 200 by any means, but we do it every other week. So it's basically episode 100, right? And yes, I just said doo-doo. You're right. So if you want to follow me and other doo-doo that I do, then that's the show, Hearth Casual, with that Brian Black bro from Realm Maintenance guy we were talking about.
All right, so with that being said, guys, again, thank you so much for joining us on episode 200. Again, with us recorded on Monday this week. This will come out and be released on Podcatchers a little bit earlier, so no show on Wednesday in that regard, but of course I will be streaming over on my Twitch channel. So with that being said, guys, again, thanks for the really 4 years of support leading up to this point. And, thanks for, just coming back every single week. And, being honest on this, basically this whole trail of shenanery that we've been on basically for 4 years at this point. And we're looking forward to the years ahead. So it means a lot to all of us here.
Yeah, no, appreciate all of you. It's been great. We can't do this without you.
Even the outlaws and uprising fans out there.
As much as I want to, I joke about stuff like that, but we really enjoy doing this. And if we were getting 20 views per episode, I don't know if we'd hit 200. But you guys have all made this worthwhile for us to do, and really kind of a big passion project for us. I mean, it spawned off a fantasy Overwatch podcast. It spawned off so many other projects that we've done. So,
yeah, and it's really spawned into really just an Overwatch network at this point.
Yeah,
and
honestly,
hopefully we can continue to grow, and hopefully we can get more tier 2 coverage at some point. So if anyone out there wants to cover, contenders or Path to Pro, feel free to reach out to us on that note. But we do need to close it out for tonight, because we do have Overwatch League Network coming on here within the next 5 to 15 minutes, give or take. So again, Kevin, thank you so much for joining us tonight. And hopefully we'll keep in touch, and we'll see. At some point, we definitely have to have you on Tavern Tale so we can talk some BGs
May as well.
at some point.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I wonder.
I'd be down.
I wonder if our bi-weekly recordings alternate weeks, or if we both skip the same week. We'll have to look into that.
We'll sync up on that. Yeah.
So we'll see you guys back here shortly if you guys want to stick around for our Overwatch League talk. But until then, guys, we'll see you then.
Peace out, y'all.
See ya.